guys, welcome back to another episode of Tommy versus Time. Guys, in this one we will be making a lamb kofte with a Greek salad and some pitas on the side. I'm excited to make this one, guys, because I am a big fan of lamb. I'm also a big fan of Greek food generally, so, you know, what could go wrong? What could go wrong? I mean, let's be honest, guys. If you've seen some of these episodes, you've seen that we haven't been doing too good on the time front. Now, that is the main purpose of these sort of meals, guys. I mean, the book is literally called 15-Minute Meals by Jamie Oliver. So we've been going through a lot of these recipes, guys. This is the 7th episode of this series, guys. So hopefully if you guys have been enjoying it, don't forget to, leave a like and subscribe or some comment down below. Or just let me know what you think generally, guys, because it helps the algorithm, it helps us grow, and of course, I'll get to have a sense of what you guys are thinking. So guys, if you have seen some of our previous videos, or if you haven't, you can check them out here. I think up here. Go check them out, guys. There's some pretty good ones there, and they're all recipes from the same book right now. We also have some other cooking being done on the channel as well, which is just kind of some home cooking recipes that I've been doing on my own. No time constraints, just fun, a little bit more interesting, and we kind of we wing it. We wing it. So guys, this recipe looks pretty good. It looks pretty easy. I'm hopeful, fingers crossed that we can get it in the right amount of time. But more than that, guys, as you know, we will be ranking this on 4 separate categories. The first, of course, is going to be the cost. How much does this meal cost? Because we like to have food that's tasty, but also cost effective. The second category will be taste. How good does this meal taste? Third is going to be our ease of use, guys. Basically, how easy was this to make? Did I need any special tools or techniques? Or, if I got to sous vide something versus I got to just, chop a few things up and throw it in a pan, things like that. The final metric, guys, of course, is time. Did we complete the meal in the allotted amount of time? Again, guys, just as a reminder, while I'm doing the cooking, I will set a timer, and whenever I have to do anything that's camera work or moving around that isn't directly related to the meal prep or cooking, I will stop the time and then restart it where I left off. So that's kind of how we gauge it. Again, it's not a perfect system, of course, but it should give you a very good estimate of how much time it actually took us. Okay, guys, with all that being said, let's get into it. Let's check out the ingredients, but before that, B-roll. Alright, so with that out of the way, let's get through the ingredients. So to start, to make lamb kofte, you need lamb, about 400 grams to be exact. So grab yourself some of that, and then you're going to want to grab yourself some pistachios, guys. You're going to want to grab 30 grams of that, and of course you can replace this with anything you want, but the lamb kofte goes really well with pistachio. Next is going to be 1 teaspoon of garam masala. Now again, you can replace it with something else, but this actually went extremely well with this recipe. Now you're going to add about 4 or 5 sprigs of thyme, followed by at least 1 tablespoon of honey. So it's time to talk salad, and to that we are going to add 1 cup of couscous. Now again, couscous, not quinoa. To that, guys, we'll be adding 1 spicy pepper of your choosing. In this case, I chose a fingerling pepper. To that, we'll add about 4 or 5 fresh leaves of mint. We'll use about half a head of iceberg lettuce. You're going to want to add about half of a large red onion. Now again, do use red onion because it pairs very well with our Kalamata olives, which we're going to be using about 5 or 6 of. You don't need many, but you can use more if you like. And of course, to that we'll add 1/2 of a cucumber. So continue on the Greek theme, we're going to add 8 or 9 cherry tomatoes, followed by, well, if you guessed it, yes, some feta cheese, and you'll be using about 40 grams of feta cheese, but you could use more if you want. So for acid, we're going to be using 1 solitary lemon, which is surprising, but that's actually all you're going to need for this. And to that, guys, we're going to add some yogurt, about 1/3 of a cup will do. And finally, you're going to need about 4 pita breads of your choice. All right, so with our ingredients listed, let's get to the prep. So the first thing we're going to want to do, guys, is get the lamb kofte ready. So in a large bowl, you're going to put your lamb meat. Now again, this is ground organic meat. It was a bit more expensive than I like, but whatever. Add salt, add some pepper, And then, of course, you're going to add some delicious garam masala, guys. This actually added a ton of flavor, and I was very happy with this. So to that, we're going to add our fresh thyme. I do stress fresh thyme. Please get fresh thyme. You're just going to peel it off the sprigs like so. And yeah, if you need a bit more, guys, you should use what you want, but it should look like this. So with all our ingredients in the bowl, guys, we're going to want to give this a quick mix. So you got to be pretty thorough here. You want to incorporate this all into our meat blend here because we're going to have to be making this into individual kofte. So once it's all incorporated, you're going to want to start to roll these into kofte. Now, guys, you're going to take about a small handful and roll these in. Use some water to wet your hands. This prevents it from sticking. And you should have something that looks like this that I know looks like something else.
Poop again! He caught the poop! This is the best night of my life.
Alright, so all jokes aside, guys, you're going to want to keep doing this until you have finished all of your delicious kofte. You should have about 8 or 9 of these by the end of it if you make them about the same size, but you can always go for something smaller or larger depending what you like. So here you go, guys. This is our final product, well, our pre-cooked final product of kofte. As you can see, we get about 8 pretty good portions. So yeah, we're gonna move to the next part. So the next step is to prep our basil, guys, and our spicy pepper. We did de-seed the spicy pepper here because I didn't want it to be too spicy. I wanted something nice and mild. So once we de-seed, we're gonna put all of this into our food processor. Yes, we have a food processor and we're going to use it, and it's gonna be amazing. I'm not gonna say I laugh maniacally when I use this, but I was really happy to have used this, guys. We finally got it used. Now, believe it or not, guys, we're actually gonna add our 1 cup of couscous directly to our food processor because what we're going to do is let this sit in those herbs and spices, and then we're just going to actually add our water on top. So that's 1 cup of couscous to 2 cups of boiling water. And once we've added the 2nd cup of water, we're simply gonna let this sit off to the side and let it absorb the water, and by the end, you'll have a nice fluffy couscous that is surprisingly easy and delicious. So with that off to the side, we're going to move to our stovetop. We're gonna grab ourselves a non-stick pan and put about 1 tablespoon of oil down before we start to cook off our lamb kofte. So on medium-high heat, after about 4 minutes, you're going to want to swish these around until you have a nice deep golden brown color. And you should look something like this, guys. And I can't tell you how good this smells while we're doing it, but we got more stuff to do. So let's get back to our prep station where we're going to get our salad ready. So we're going to cut off the bottom of our lettuce here and the top, and then we're just going to cut these into nice chunks. And when I say chunks, I mean quarters, because we're going to want to put this onto our serving dish as the base of our salad. Now again, you could cut this into thinner pieces if you like, but I went with something fairly thick because it's quicker and actually looks pretty good on our plate. So next you're going to grab your cucumber, you're going to cut that in half, get the plastic off, and get it ready to grate. Now along with that is going to go our half onion. So yes, guys, we are grating both the cucumber and the onion, so just prep them so you can handle them well enough to use the grater. So you're going to want to grate this on a coarse grate here, guys, and after you're done thoroughly mangling the cucumber, let's move on to the onion. So with the onion, we're going to do the same thing on a coarse grate, and we're going to try not to cry because we're emotionally attached to this onion and not because of the chemicals that are released by said onion. So after a quick cry, you should have cucumber and onion that looks like this, and we're going to move on to the next step, which is to get the liquid out of the onion and the cucumber. Now, guys, this is really important because nobody likes a soggy salad, all right? So make sure you give that a good squeeze, get all that water out, and it is a surprising amount, as you can see here. So yeah, let's move to the tomatoes, and we're going to just slice these up real quick into halves. You could go quarters if you want, but we're sort of against the clock here. So into halves, lots of tomatoes, there you go. And let's move to our salad where we're going to now sprinkle everything on top and make it look beautiful. So with the tomato on, we're going to add our grated cucumber, followed by our grated onion. So with the grated cucumber and onion, you're going to want to be pretty generous because it's fine and you need a good bit of it for flavor. Once you've added that, you're going to now grab your olives and just break those in half and remove the pits. You can add more if you'd like, but I added about 7 or 8 as the recipe instructed. So with the salad prep, let's move to our dressing, which is going to use half of a lemon and, of course, a good healthy amount of our yogurt, which is about 1/3 of a cup of yogurt. So in a bowl, guys, you're going to add your 1/3 of a cup of yogurt. You add a nice healthy pinch of salt, 4 or 5 cranks of black pepper, and the juice of that half lemon. Once that's all incorporated into the bowl, guys, you're going to give this a quick mix, and you should have something that looks a little bit like this. And this is fresh, bright, and delicious, guys, and goes really well with this meal. All right, so it's time to dress our salad, which is looking pretty good, but definitely needs a bit of that dressing on top. So guys, here you want to be fairly generous with this, but not too generous because we don't want a soup. We do want a salad with a bit of dressing. So just keep that in mind, but yeah, make it look pretty, you know? And I think I'm doing a pretty good job. To that, we're gonna add our 40 grams of feta, and you should have a salad that looks like this. So with our salad beauty shots out of the way, guys, we're going to move back to the stove and to our lamb kofte because we have a few things to do, including getting our pistachios ready. So we're going to add our pistachios into a mortar and pestle, and we're going to give this a quick bash. Now, guys, you do not want to do this too hard because you do not want a powder. You want some nice kind of crumbled bits of pistachio on top. Now, I will say while I was doing this, unfortunately, we ran out of time. As you can see, our 15 minutes has expired, so we're going to start a new timer right now and see how far we have to go. So with our timer set, we're going to move back to the stove where we're going to add our kofte back to the pan. This is on a medium-low heat, and then we're going to add our pistachios to this. Now, the reason we're doing this now is this will partially toast it, but it will also help begin sticking to our lamb kofte, and of course, to make it stick even more, we're going to add our honey. Now, I know this looks like a lot of honey, but it will melt and act like a glue for us, so this is going to give us a nice sticky coating. And you should have something that, well, sounds like this. So with the magic of editing, we've now plated everything, guys, and honestly, the contrast of all the items looks amazing. this looks delicious and looks like a feast. So this feast can be yours for the low time cost of 28 minutes and 30 seconds. Yeah, 5.5 minutes over, guys, but what can you do? What we can do is taste it. Now, this is just a small tasting platter, guys, but I gotta say the way that this comes together on a plate is so simple, and it just looks really family style, and I love it. The couscous was really good, really soft, and as you can see, we have amazing kofte. Super just glistening, the honey, the pistachio. These are flavor bombs. You have to try these. They're so good. And the salad's actually not bad, too. Kind of bright, kind of light, and just a really good meal. All right, guys, so there you go. That is our lamb kofte with pita and Greek salad. Turned out pretty good. As you saw, unfortunately, we're about 5.5 minutes over time. Now, I will say one thing that I'm not super fond of is microwaving the pita. That was something that was put in there. Obviously, it saves you some time. I did it for the 45 seconds as recommended. However, definitely want to toast your bread. I don't know, to me, it's so much better. It's something that was definitely missing. So overall, guys, this meal was actually pretty easy to make. It just took me a little while. I think part of the issue was actually making the kofte. Never really made them before, so I kind of spent more time than I needed to doing that, and I think that's probably where we just kind of got a little bit behind. The other thing was then also putting everything together, like the salad, that thing. While it's not hard, I still need to read the instructions and kind of see kind of what he's doing. So a little bit of time lost there, but ultimately I do think the biggest thing was just doing the kofte and doing it by hand. Now, that being said, guys, as you saw, we have, well, it's not there now, but we have a food processor, finally. We got a chance to use it, guys. Obviously, it saved us a ton of time. I was really impressed with how quickly you can just throw the couscous in, throw basically a 2-to-1 ratio of water to couscous into the blender with all the stuff. It actually tastes pretty good. And it was really awesome, like how it came out nice and fluffy. So I was super surprised by that, really happy. So excellent marks on that for the recipe and also obviously for the ECUs. So guys, speaking of ECUs, let's quickly go through the scores. So for ECUs, guys, as you saw, using the food processor saved a ton of time and it worked out really well with the couscous inside, and I'm super surprised that it worked as well as it did. So guys, ECUs, nothing crazy about this meal. I'll give it a 9 out of 10. Obviously, we're not gonna give it full marks just because we had a couple issues with making some of the stuff. The lamb kofte took some time. Wasn't hard to make, but it took away from our time. So for taste, guys, I'm actually giving this an 8 out of 10. I'm surprised. I think so much of the flavor, guys, comes from those little lamb bombs. Those little kofte are like just flavor bombs. You know what? Honestly, the garam masala was plenty of flavor. I thought it wouldn't be enough. Add a bit of salt. The honey and pistachio on top is just so good. It all pairs so wonderfully together. The salad's nice and cool and crisp. It's tasty. And of course, like I mentioned, you have these wonderful bites from the couscous that add a little bit of spice. And if you mix that all with kind of every little component of the yogurt and the honey and the pistachio and the lamb, you just get every bite has a beautiful bite to it and it's just really tasty. So for time, guys, as you saw, unfortunately, we were about 5.5 minutes over, which is unfortunate because I actually was thinking we may have a chance to get this. But again, I think really just doing everything by hand there did take a little bit away from it. But overall, a 20-minute meal is pretty good. And again, guys, I'm not a pro chef. I'm a home cook, and I'm learning as I go. So, I do think if I made this recipe a few times, I could probably get it down to that 15-minute mark. But maybe that'll be for a future video. I don't know. So now let's jump into the cost. So for cost, this entire meal was $16.51. That is a per plate cost of $4.13. This is very good considering the kind of food, how tasty it is, and of course also considering the fact that we could have made this cheaper if we didn't have to get some of this organic lamb that's always a bit more expensive. So theoretically this could have been under the $4 mark, which is really, really good. So we're going to give cost an 8 out of 10 here, guys, and that is a total of 25 out of 30 with a fail on time, unfortunately, but there's our total score with everything added up, 25 out of 30, guys, and yeah, I definitely recommend you give this meal a shot. Alright guys, so that'll do it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I strongly recommend you try this at home, guys. Let me know how you do it, how it went for you. Feel free to leave a comment on a trick maybe that I should have done or something I could have improved on, because like I said, I'm not a pro. I'm an amateur, I'm learning. So any little tips or tricks, guys, greatly appreciated. And as always, guys, if you're enjoying the videos, feel free to check out something else on our channel. And of course, thumbs if you liked it, subs if you loved it. We will see you in the next one.